Hey guys, welcome to Daymaker. Hope you are doing well. I'm excited to be coming into your home and your phone, through your computer, however that's happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, tomorrow, the 15th, or even today, if you want to be an early bird user on the class, the Divine Fulfillment to the Six Human Needs, that class is now live. And if you are interested in joining the class, let me know. We'll hook you up to join the class. It's a dynamite class, and we're excited. We added 3 students yesterday. We had some pre-registrations from students before. We added some people that were taking some of our other classes. So there is a great class there, and excited for you to join that. So on Daymaker, let's talk about it today. We're going to talk about the voice of God, the voice of God. Not an easy subject, but the truth of the matter is, here's what we do know. God says that my sheep know my voice. In other words, there's just a knowing when God speaks. You just know I call it a knower. You know in your knower that God is speaking. Now, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, taught something for years called the cost clarity principle. The cost clarity principle. In other words, the reason that God isn't specifically always clear is because if God told you, move to Memphis, and you didn't want to move to Memphis because it's so clear that there's no way to disobey. In other words, there's no grace where there's clarity. When God knows that you don't know everything clearly, but you are still obedient in your heart, and you're doing what he's called you to do to the best of your ability, then sometimes there's a reason why God's not perfectly clear. I've taught for years that most of us would rather say, we'd rather that God say, do it or I'll kill you, instead of saying, if you will, if you are, if you see. So here's the point. The point is, when God speaks and when it is clear, the only clarity is your obedience. The only fulfill through is your obedience. Now listen, when you do hear God clearly, there is a cost. I want you to think about that. That when, no matter what God tells you to do, particularly if it's something you don't want to do, or maybe you didn't know it was coming, maybe it throws you into uncertainty or confusion or fear or chaos, there's always a cost. And even if it's simple, moving is hard work, but it's not always hard. But if it's just with Abraham, when God told him to go, and basically told Abraham to go somewhere to where I'm going to tell you to stop when I tell you to stop, and that's where you're going to stop, to go to where he didn't know where he was going, there's a cost in that. There's a cost in gathering up your family, packing all your things, packing your mules, etc., your wagons, however they chose to go, your donkeys, etc. There's a cost in that. There's also the cost of transition. There's always a price to obedience. God even tells you and me to count the cost. To count the cost, meaning I want you to be clear when you make this decision that you won't back up, that you will continue to do what I told you to do. And here's what I want to say to you and me. Obedience is always worth the cost. Obedience is always worth the cost. And that's just the truth. Cost and investment. God has given me certain things to do in this season, and what he is showing me to do, there's a cost in the obedience. There is an insurity in my heart about the responsibility, and it is costing me financially to invest in what I've heard God to tell me to do. There's also a reward. But in the meantime, all I want to say is, when God speaks, and what I want to say to you today, first of all, we want to hear his voice. We want him to speak to us. Show us your ways, Lord, so that we can walk in your path. We want that. There's nothing better than that. But there is a cost. There is a sacrifice. And there is an investment that you're going to make. And all I want to say to you is, never hold back in counting the cost. Never hold back in obeying what he says. And never hold back in the investment that it takes to do what he says, because you're going to get back, pressed down, shaken together, running over what exceedingly abundantly, above all that we could ever ask or think or even imagine. So obey him. Obey him. And I'm here to tell you, you will live an adventurous, awesome life when you hear his voice and obey what he says. That's my Daymaker for today. I hope you'll hear clearly. I hope you will obey. Listen, I'm headed to Nashville, Tennessee for a few days, then up to see my mother. Then we're going to stop by the Church of Kent and Candy Christmas. And then we're going to stop in Nashville and see some old friends, Tim Anderson. And then we're going to come back to Longview. We'll be back in Lightbridge real soon. Right now, we are on assignment doing what God's called us to do. We'll be back in Lightbridge 2 Sundays a month and traveling 2 Sundays a month. And we'll be there for Easter. Looking forward to that. You have a great day. I've got a great week planned for you here on Daymaker. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'll be on the road Wednesday morning on my iPhone doing Daymaker the rest of the week on the road. I'll let you know where I'm at. We do have someone that's house sitting our house and taking care of the things that are happening here. So we're excited about that. But we're looking forward to connecting with you, and we will see you soon. Happy Daymaker. We'll see you.